Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another Starcraft 2 commentary, this time Game 2 in the Best of 3 series between Fruit Seller, spawning as the Blue Zerg, and Foxer, Fake Boxer, Optimus Prime, Marine Micromaster, whatever you want to call him, in the northern part of this map, spawning as the Red Terran. So the map will be Metalopolis, and again far spawn position, so just like the last game, Lost Temple, I believe this will be a bit of an advantage for the Zerg player as he might be able to macro up, get on that second base a little bit faster without having to worry about the harassment of Foxer. So Foxer did go for a rather unorthodox Banshee build. He did a double port Banshee, but he also created a medevac and dropped some SCVs with the Banshees and attempted to repair the Banshees on the fly as they were trying to take down all the queens of Fruit Seller. Fruit Seller, for his part, did have 4 queens. One was taken down quite quickly, but the remaining 3 were able to fend off those Banshees with good use of Transfuse, and he bought himself enough time to get the Spire out, and then was able to counter with Mutalisks, and Foxer was rather all in with that attack, did not have many Marines, did not have an Engineering Bay down, and was not able to handle the Mutalisk. So I believe that Foxer will probably go for a more traditional Marine-based play for this second game, as it is his elimination game. We do see him getting down this barracks, and be interested to see whether we see a hatch first, and it looks like we will from Fruit Seller. So throwing down this 15 hatch as soon as he is able to afford it. Checking out the APM of both players, around 150 again. I'll try to check that later on in the game, see how they're progressing. Again, Foxer mostly focuses on Marine play, getting out a second barracks here, and does such a good job microing those Marines. We do see that the drone coming out, trying to figure out the starting locations of both players, and Fruit Seller is going to be happy once again. He does know that they are on these cross-far positions, and Foxer is not going to be too happy. He really wants the Zerg to be in this position right here, as it's just really good to put down bunkers here. The creep does not extend far enough for the spine crawlers to attack the bunkers on this base, plus it's close by ground. So he is going to be upset that the Zerg player is here, and we'll see what kind of pressure he's able to put on with these racks. The first Marine is out, looks like a Marine out in front with this SCV, so we may see him trying to throw down a bunker at the entrance to this ramp, but we see that Fruit Seller had a patrolling drone there, so he is going to be able to prevent that. Also bringing down a number of drones for a transfer here, and he is going to try to prevent any bunkers from being thrown down. Now we see a stream of Zerglings coming out, a supply depot going down, so no bunker. That supply depot quickly canceled, but again, with these far positions, the Marines are just going to come too slow, as we see Foxer trying to take down these Zergling numbers with these retreating Marines. Does have even more Marines all around, and trying to do a good job of taking down the Zergling count, shooting and scooting away. And we see he is positioning these Marines very intelligently. He's not keeping them all in a pack. They are quite separate from each other, so as soon as the Zerglings finish off one Marine, they're going to have to travel to another Marine. If they were all grouped up in a pack, there would be 0 travel distance between them. So that's something you can do, and all the Marines just standing there shooting, not having to move. So already some good micro from Foxer, but these positions are just not going to be good for him throwing down any sort of bunker right here. Also, because of these starting positions, the creep extends a little bit further, and a spine crawler right here can attack that bunker without throwing down a creep tumor. Now we see that there are 2 queens up on these bases. So we do see Fruit Seller able to get up his macro game quite a bit here, and we see that Foxer is going to respond with an expansion of his own, getting up another 2 racks, now getting on these 2 gas as well, created those around the same time, and we see a 3rd expansion coming from Fruit Seller, so being very aggressive here with expanding. He knows that the initial attack was foiled, and he's going to have a little bit of time before Foxer is able to get stim up and able to push out with a decent force. See double tech labs, and this is something that Foxer does like to do. Going to be possibly researching stim and the combat shields at the same time, wants to make those Marines as powerful as possible as early as possible. So we do see he does have enough gas for one of the upgrades, Instead, going to be getting out a number of Marauders first, so those Marauders will be able to tank for the Marines. They just have a lot more HP, almost triple the HP of the Marines, and if you keep those in front, they're going to be very effective against the Banelings. We do see a Zergling poking its head in there. We'll see that command center for Foxer. So now we see 2 reactors going on these barracks, so putting an add-on on each barracks. We do see a Baneling nest about to finish for Fruit Cellar as well, so he is going to be able to take on these Marines if he can get a number of Banelings up. That 3rd hatchery completing, if we look at the income tab for both players, 35 harvesters to 24, so Foxer has been cutting SCVs a little bit, trying to get his Marine and Marauder numbers up, and completing these add-ons on the barracks. Now throwing down a bunker, wants to make sure that no roach pressure could poke through at this point. But we see the Zerg player mostly on Zerglings at this point, now his speed upgrade, and he will be at least sending 1 Zergling in here to poke at the front door. We see a number of Banelings being created, and that Zergling went in there. He does see that the Terran player does have these Marauders out, and check out the positioning for Foxer. He has all these Marines in the back, the Marauders out front, so they will take any Baneling damage, and the Marines in the back are even spread into small clumps, so if a Baneling does make it back there, not going to be able to do too much damage, as we see that Fruit Cellar may be poking forward with these Banelings. A few Marines getting in that bunker, but it looks like Fruit Cellar thinking better of that, now going to retreat. And just going to be macroing up off these 3 bases, 45 workers to the 26 now. So Foxer mostly relying on these mules, keeping his income pretty high, but the Zerg player overtaking him at this point. And we see more Banelings and Zerglings just constantly being produced for Fruit Cellar. Now getting up a Roach Warren and also working on the ground carapace level 1. We do see the combat shield about to finish for Foxer, also getting the concussive shell. So moving out with this army, again keeping those Marauders out in front, so any Banelings are going to hit those Marauders, 125 health, and they are armored units rather than light. So going to take a few free Overlords here, so Fruit Cellar kind of losing track of these Overlords. You need to keep them in a position where they can retreat quickly away from the Marine pressure. Now Stim and Combat Shields are complete, concussive shell about to finish, a really quick upgrade, just 60 units of time. And if Foxer's going to move out here, he needs to do a little bit of repositioning, get those Marauders out in front. Do see a Spinecrawler going down for Fruit Cellar, and a scan here. He's going to want to move in before the Creep Tumors can be picked off, trying to poke in and find an opening with those Banelings, but the Marauders doing such a good job tanking in front for those Marines, and finally taking or cutting his losses, using some of those Banelings on the Marauders, not able to take them down though, and it looks like all the Marines of Foxer are going to survive this one, and he's going to focus down that Queen very quickly. Also going to be focusing down the workers at this hatchery. These workers are retreating to the 3rd base, so we will know that that base is there as well. Taking down that quick hatchery there, and now 26 Zerglings on the way for Fruit Cellar. Is he going to try to make those into Banelings? Looks like we have 7 Banelings, 13 Banelings now on the, or being created for Fruit Cellar, but I believe he's going to lose this hatchery, possibly losing this evolution chamber as well before the +1 armor upgrade finishes. And now he really needs to attack with these drones and the Banelings at the same time. Banelings being focused down by Foxer before they can get up the ramp. A number of Banelings coming in and doing good damage from multiple angles against these Marines. And now the Marines going to do their best to stim and get away from these Banelings. Now trying to focus down this last Queen. And when all the dust settles, it looks like Fruit Cellar is going to lose his main here. Is trying to get up a hatchery and some tech structures in this 3rd. But we do see that Fake Foxer is going to be finishing off this 3rd, attacking these drones. Does have a spawning pool coming up, and these drones and roaches finally popping are going to be able to surround these Marines, but I believe he's just going to have too many units as he's rallying in more units here, and the Marauders are going to be very effective against those armored roaches. Stimming and moving up into the 3rd, trying to take down that Roach Warren, stopping the production of those powerful roaches, focusing down all the remaining roaches as they stream in from the extra larva at the main and the natural. Now these drones being pulled off the line, Fruit Cellar doing everything he can to try to fend off this push. All these Marauders very low life at this point. They are going to be able to take down this Roach Warren. Looks like we have a few more Marines coming in, trying to take down this Spinecrawler. They really need to wait for their Marauder brethren. And now we have another set of roaches popping out here, but Fruit Seller knows that he is just too far behind on the one base, so he is going to give up and throw the GG here in this game too. So Foxer employed a little bit more marine micro in this second game than he did in the first, going back to his bread and butter, and he got both those upgrades, the stim, the concussive shell, and also the combat shields, and was just so effective microing away from those banelings. Banelings down here, they did attack those marauders in the end, but were not able to take any of them down, and they could just never get to those marines, and that pretty much sealed the deal for Foxer. He was able to move on, take down the natural and the main, and force this game 3. So pretty good series so far. I'll go ahead and cast game 3 right now. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching this one.